This conference will now be recorded.
Thanks, Jeremy. At 3:31, roll call, please, David.
Leroy here. Dale Schmitz
Here.
Tracy Fluke
Here.
Annette Obinger.
Here.
Kyle Jago is excused, and then Jessica Atkinson.
Here. Thank you, everybody. Let's stand up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. All right, action on the agenda. You want to make any changes to the agenda? Move anything? Otherwise, I have a motion to approve it.
All motion to approve it.
I'll second. Move in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Action on the minutes from our Bike and Ped Committee on November 8th, 2021. For any corrections or changes on that? On those, I should say.
I didn't see anything. All motion to approve.
Motion by Dale.
Second.
Good.
Second by Leroy, either one. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Comments from the public, limited to items that are not on the agenda, state name and address, limited to 5 minutes, board rules to listen, not discuss, personal issues cannot be discussed, and board is not able to take action at our meeting. Don't believe there's any public. Jeff's here, but he's the public safety guy. Anybody else have anything under that? Otherwise, you'll have a chance at the end as well to make any comments. All right, we'll move along. Site plan review, I did talk to Kyle. Kyle's not able to be here today. There was nothing from site plan review that he wanted to share at the meeting today. Action items, we have A is the Bellenhouse bike and ped accommodation addition to the TIF plan. Rex, I don't know if you want to start with that.
Sure. At the previous meeting, we just briefly talked about the new Bellenhouse surgical center, which is going on the open art site. Talked about the current accommodations that are in that area and what may be appropriate to try and add into the site plan, and then certainly surrounding the specific area, whether it be on Wabi or Allied, or on the other side of 41 Oneida Street as it comes towards the surgical center. So I think what would be appropriate to do here is just talk and decide, maybe what recommendations we'd like to see added. Those would be a couple things. We could potentially add those to the bike and pedestrian plan if they aren't already in there. And I think a lot of them already are. But specifically then recommend to Village Board that those accommodations that we talk about be added into the potential TIF plan.
Yep.
And then those accommodations, if they were accepted by Village Board or agreed upon, they have the ability to be funded by the TIF. It's in that area.
Yep, agree. Do you want to start from one end? I just took a ride today just to, so, I mean, and I don't know what's in our plan and what's not. I did not look at that, but the sidewalk on the south side,
It's
right?
in the plan.
So I started at actually a little bit beyond Ridge or South Ridge,
Okay.
but South Ridge literally has crosswalks all four and the signs.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool for the path. But my recommendation would be obviously the sidewalk. And it looks like there's some infrastructure issues there, probably going down for sure. But then what I saw is when you got to Allied.
Yep.
So Allied only has it on one side, and that's going from the old BP to the Quick Trip. And then across from the stump to the quick trip. Nothing on the other side and nothing on the south side. In fact, when I was there, the short period I was there, I saw some guy had to walk across the street there and then walk along the road with a bag, probably of food, right, for lunchtime. So that's just one, and there's gonna be a lot more people there. So it'd be nice somehow to get, maybe that one walk across is fine, but then there still needs to be a cross from, especially with the sidewalk in, right, across Allied from the west side to the east side, to BP. Right.
I think all four.
Yeah, it'd be nice, yeah, if we get all four.
I'm sorry, I thought you said the other one. Yeah,
All four should have it then,
yeah. 'Cause-
If you're going that far, yeah.
because you could be going in different directions. So
Right.
I guess, and again, I'm more of an advisor versus committee member, so I don't want
No.
to jump on anyone's.
You get more experience with it than I do, so.
Yeah, no, so let's talk about, you mentioned from South Ridge to Allied. So there's two options there, obviously. There's the continuation of a trail, or you could reduce it down to a sidewalk. And then I guess as a staff person, I have a feeling that question would be asked of the committee, from other departments of, like, what would you like to see here? Is either okay, what based. So I think if you're gonna just discuss, I think maybe whether, you want to continue the trail all the way down to Allied, or whether a sidewalk is more appropriate. And again, you're right, there's some geographical conditions there and some potential slopes and some parking lots that come really close to the curb. That may affect what eventually can go in there.
Well, and I think one of the things we need to really focus on that is just the Bellon site. Because the TIF encompasses the Bellon site. I don't believe it goes up to Ridge. I should have bought the map one. So.
Joel said they might be able to expand that though within the district.
Yeah, there's certain distance away, yes.
So
Yes.
everything that we're talking about would probably be eligible.
Okay, all right. So then, just so you guys all understand, with the bike ped plan, what it does call for, or what it says in the bike ped plan, is there's a sidewalk on the south side of Wabi. Like you said, from Ridge all the way down, going under the viaduct, and then continuing on the east side of Oneida, all the way up to Hanson, I think, is as far as it goes out.
There's a sidewalk on the north side right now.
Wabi, yes, the
Wabi.
sidewalk is on the north side right now, but there's nothing on the south side of Wabi, and there's nothing on the east side of Oneida Street. So the proposal, well, when you get further like by Subway, Subway, there's a little piece by Subway, and that goes to the crosswalk, and then that's it. So that would be, your connections through there is getting, up to that commercial area that's just on the north side of where the freeway goes over as a connection. And, the thing there, obviously in the bike ped plan and future, we really want to think about all of that area. But we may be able to do pieces, at least to get it going. And, with the Bellon property coming in sooner than later, to make sure we get that connection. And then we can work on the other pieces as it moves along. But if it's all on the tip, then we can also talk to them about the whole thing.
The only reason I'm thinking of promoting the whole thing is, look at those two crosswalks. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Those two crosswalks, you wouldn't catch me in them two crosswalks.
Right.
No,
The ones you're talking at Allied, or where are you talking?
right there, those two right there in front of
Subway and.
Subway, right
Oh,
there.
there,
And the other
yeah.
one by Five Guys.
Yeah, and we
And
toured
across
those,
there
yeah.
without some type of a flashing sign.
Right.
Or,
For butt people.
that's just,
Yeah. And you guys, you have, what, 6 lanes there you have to cross?
You have people going on and coming off
Yeah.
the highway.
and they ain't driving 30.
No. Yeah. I mean, remember public safety said, which surprised me, that it's a lot faster for southbound vehicles than it is for northbound, which surprised me. Because they're heading to the freeway, and the ones going northbound are kind of coming into a quieter area
Yeah.
off the freeway, But yeah, it's still, I mean, if you go from the Bellin site to get over to Subway, you have to cross, you probably go to Allied to cross because there's lights there, walk up the sidewalk, then you have to cross another 6 lanes of traffic. And the most unsafe place for pedestrians is in a walk crossing the road. So to have the sidewalk,
The amount of employees that are gonna be going there,
right,
like, you know, they're gonna be walking to Subway and to Starbucks and to Cousins and like, there's a bunch of little restaurants right there. They're not gonna cross and cross.
No.
They're gonna all be in there.
How much, Rex, because it's partly state, right? The off ramps and the, so I don't know what that's like working with the state when you
Well,
TIF or whatever, TIF, they don't have anything to do with it.
I mean, if you're paying for it, it's just a matter of paperwork type of thing. My concern of, we'll find out soon enough, is just what kind of utilities are buried there. Because when they redid that whole intersection, I mean, they put things and located things on the north side, knowing sidewalks are going.
not on the south.
Not on
We
the
didn't think
south.
about it.
So there could be a number of utility relocations that may need to be done, depending on how far north we go on that side of the street. There may need to be right-of-way purchased, as well, because sometimes the right-of-way only is literally a foot or two off the curb in some of these business districts. So there's a couple things that will need to be explored more. But that's another thing to talk about too, is if you're going to go on the south side of the street, east side, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
How far do you go? Now, I know everyone wants to go to Quick Trip. I would throw in, it might be appropriate to Parker John's.
That's what I think would be getting it at least there, because that's where people are gonna be walking to. Then past that, you're not.
Right.
I think people are more likely to drive down if they're going to the car lot or going down to Fresh Time, or, I mean, I think you're still gonna have some people walking, but I think for sure you have to get at least to like the Parker John's.
Where's Parker
At
John's?
minimum.
The old Grassy.
Oh, Grazie's.
So what, can you point out Parker John's on there with the whereabouts?
There.
So,
Chicken wing.
and then that parking lot next to them there, that's
That's a car lot.
the car dealership?
Yeah,
It's on the
All right.
it's on, and then this is the parking lots here all for that bank properties, the bank, whatever. Associated Bank.
Yeah, Grazie's, they'd be taking up parking places to get any
Mhm.
right away.
Yeah, you could, I know it's not always good to just to dump something out into the parking lot, but you could see if Grassie's would be willing to give up like a spot type of thing for, and have the sidewalk kind of enter into the park, into the down. Up down, there you go.
Yeah.
Sidewalk or not, you still have the problem of crossing Oneida. I think that's gotta be, that's gotta be taken care of first,
Yeah.
whether we have a sidewalk or not.
Yeah.
And, my suggestion would be to put it up more of those thinking lights, like, by the
By the
Title
stadium?
Yeah, I've seen them more and more in Green Bay and other places, just,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's too close to the highway or not, but if you had blinking lights, then I think the sidewalks would work easily. But I'm worried, I would never cross the street.
No, it's not easy to cross Oneida
Yeah,
Street. I
but
mean,
you're
it's 6
running-
lanes and the twiddle, so the
If you're
twiddle is
running
gonna
a
take the.
sidewalk all the way from Dillon,
From
Right,
Bella
so
to
then
the-
hopefully you
then
stay.
you may have made your decision. I shouldn't just think of Dillon, that's true.
Yeah.
Right,
But
That's the driver.
but that's.
that's the
right.
driver of it, and the surrounding area is gonna be driver, because I guarantee you, if I'm a doctor or I'm somebody
Yeah.
and I'm doing outpatient surgery, I'm trying to have my office pretty close by.
Mhm.
That's what they do right now. Right, so it's gonna expand. I visualize it's expanding. So
We still have a problem crossing Oneida.
not if we get the sidewalk all the way down the southeast side.
First.
Because Bellin's on this.
That's
Yeah.
on the south.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay.
We already have sidewalk on the north side
Yes. up
west
and
side.
Yep.
North and west, right.
of Oneida, Wabi.
Yeah.
Okay, we're trying to make the sidewalk when Bellin does all this, to do it also on the southeast side. So you don't have to cross to go to
So
Starbucks.
this is gonna be the new Bellin, right? Make sure we're
Yep.
on, let's make sure we're all on the same page.
For the southeast side of this.
So we will want to put crosswalks on all four intersections here.
Yep.
Sidewalks coming, ridges up,
Yeah, Ridge is right there.
Right there.
They have.
so all the way down. Okay, again, here's Bellin, and Jeremy, if you could slide this way a little bit. There you go. So this is Bellin, so then we want to go here, underneath here. This is the car dealership here, here's Subway. We got a little bit of sidewalk here, so keep on going on this side.
So they're gonna have to cross when they come.
No,
up
they-
The ramp.
They would need to cross the off ramp,
Whoa.
That car dealership.
which is kind of,
Whoa.
which is,
Yeah,
yeah,
the same-
how's it any different than the sidewalk over
Right.
here on Lombardi and?
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
I
it's gotta be
said
like
it's better to
that.
take one going down, coming off as opposed to
Right.
accelerating going.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pilgrim Way has the same thing. There's an on-ramp going on and there's a sidewalk going right across there. And that was a concern, I know, when they put that in, but you know, it just is part of what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
people just have to pay attention and you as a walker have to pay attention and the more vehicle drivers have to pay attention, which I know is asking a lot these days, but.
But I haven't heard of any issues with pedestrian/car accidents on 41 and Lombardi.
Right.
That seems to be working.
How many people walk that? I mean, I.
What is a fair number?
Going over to Title Town
From the
area?
neighborhood up there, going down to Title Town.
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, that's,
I see people walking.
oh, yeah.
Well, worst case scenario, if we were lucky enough to get sidewalk all the way down, they could eliminate the first crossover and just keep the second crossover by 5 guys.
Mhm.
And the hotel, the second, there's 2 of them, they're only maybe, I'm gonna say 100 feet apart. It ain't far.
Yeah, you could maintain the.
One's on one side of,
Further down.
what's the street that's?
That's from out of
Vermont
way,
Way.
from out of way.
One's on one side, one's on, you can see them right there.
Right there.
When you like see them?
Yep.
They could eliminate the first one, which would give them a little more time for that car to see a yield and pedestrian crossing. Especially if we had the sidewalk where you could choose that you wanted to be on the south side, east side, rather than be on the other side. Because think of it, you're not having people walk up the highway, they're coming from the other side of 41 in that business district, whether it's Stein's or Quick Trip, they're gonna eat there if they work there. But
Yep.
the hospital, or anything else that's generated there, in fact,
If I'm there, I'm using the Allied crossing.
Yep.
I'm not going up. it.
Exactly.
I'm going across.
you're going across
Right
there.
there.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Because it's going to be safer.
It'd be safer, right, than walking. across
Has
that one.
Bellin said how many employees roughly are gonna be moving to this site?
I don't know, it's like 5 floors.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say-
but only 2 are gonna be
Two
operational.
out of the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, but I think they're already talking about more
That's
than that. I
450.
think they're already talking about expanding up into that because they're now talking about moving their whole social worker team over there.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, they're already talking about expanding into those other floors. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be no time and they're gonna have all 5 of those floors.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure. They
Filled.
will.
Wasn't the lake room? Isn't that going to be their human resource office? I heard.
I didn't hear that. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why they kept that building there. I was wondering if the guy didn't sell it.
Ah,
I thought that's what discussion.
Oh, so right on the corner.
Yep,
Had her Park View and.
Behind it.
Oh,
You know, that
yeah,
outlet,
yeah.
that printing place,
Yes.
right in front of Menards.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna be moved there. My daughter-in-law is a nurse practitioner at Cardiology Associates up on the 2nd floor at the hospital.
Yeah, they're all getting, all
And
of
it's- they're just so much, they need so much more room, it's just unbelievable. I mean,
Okay, so
So-
we're
You're gonna have a
thinking
lot of people.
we wanna
in
ask-
that spot.
for sidewalks from Ridge all the way to Parker Johns on.
Not paths.
I don't think you need, I think it should be a sidewalk.
I think it should be.
Because we're gonna have trouble fitting in there
Space,
anyway, and
yeah.
if we have a sidewalk, it's narrower, and we have sidewalk on the other side of the road too, so I think a sidewalk would be
Less
fine.
things need to be moved.
Yes, yes.
Accommodate that.
the other thing
So
I
we're
noticed
thinking-
is but even if you go on our path on Wabi, there's some of those businesses that are, either they're plowing it or we're plowing it, because I went down the entire path from Wabi all the way to Packerland, and there's a lot of sections that will plow.
we're not.
Okay, so they must just be doing it as part of their normal plowing operation.
Yeah, I was just out there today and Greenie is clearing theirs, I noticed, but no one else had cleared theirs when I was out there today.
Looks like
But Greenie
Pepsi did, and then it blew over,
Oh,
because you see
okay.
the chunks to the side and didn't come back and do it a second time.
Yeah. Okay, so we're thinking, ask the village board to look at TIF for a sidewalk from Ridge Road to Parker Johns. And it's in the bike ped plan. What about Allied? So we have Allied coming across. There's a crosswalk on, I guess, what direction
You're
would that
looking
be?
to the north, Jeremy, from like past the bowling alley. This is Allied.
Allied's right there.
That's
Yeah,
Allied.
Allied's right there.
Yeah.
So we have the one crossing on Allied. There's a sidewalk that comes down past Quick Trip and then heads off to Oneida Street. So Bellin will sit on this whole corner. If you go, you can go south yet, Jeremy, down to Parkview. So Bellin is taking this whole section. So in my opinion, they should
Should be.
have a sidewalk on Allied as well.
Because
on
they're probably
their
gonna have
side of
people in that hotel.
Hotel's gone.
It's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be
Oh, you
gone.
think it's be gone?
It's empty.
Yeah.
Bellin owns it.
Yeah, but I thought Bellin, well, it's not any overnight, it should be overnight surgeries, but if people need to stay in town. But maybe they are, because normally outpatient is
Yeah.
a
The
single day.
loader was there.
That's what I thought the other day. I
Okay.
thought I saw someone.
Wow, what a shame.
I
I
think
know.
they're
I-
putting
That's a
they're
shame.
putting a surgical recovery thing in the building they're building. So like, so similar to OSMS, put that on top there. So it's up to 24 hours after your surgery, you can stay in there, and then they're contracting with places like us that they'll ship them to after.
Oh,
Look at Jessica with all the good information.
Yeah.
So once you hit the 23-hour mark, you'll get shipped off.
So, oh, okay,
But hips,
Okay.
knees are all 12 hours. You're in and out in 12 hours is they're flying out of here. And then, yeah, up to 24 hours on one of their floors. And then, yeah, so if it's more than the 24-hour surgery, they're not planning to do them at the site. So like if you're really high risk with other things, they won't be doing those here.
Be a hospital or whatever.
Yep, then you'll go over to Bellin for it. But the majority of their surgeries, they're moving over here, including like your gallbladders, they're moving a lot more than they initially talked about moving. It seems like it's getting moved here.
well, okay, so how easy access do we have to the Bellin plan to put it up on the screen, is
I don't think we have,
it? Easy question, but.
Is there cardiology associates department gonna move to this new place too?
A lot of the clinics that are using that are
Like
in
the
the
fourth-
Bellin Hospital
Like the fourth
currently,
floor there now?
they're moving a lot of the clinics into there because the hospital itself, they're trying to use for just hospital. So, yeah, so like if your
Makes sense.
daughter's in one of like a clinic
That
that's
makes sense.
operated outside of, like operated through Bellin, a lot of
Makes
those are
sense.
getting relocated.
It's a Bellin. It's a
Doesn't
Bellin.
make sense.
Yep.
Yep.
Does make
so if you guys remember, the Bellin site had a gravel trail that they had kind of
Oh, I found
circumventing their property. So it kind of went down along the freeway and then it came back around. And then I think it went down towards Allied, but didn't go much further because the railroad tracks are there. And access from Parkview is not really possible with the railroad tracks there. So then I think it just kind of ended there. Might have went sneaking north of the railroad tracks. So they did have that planned. Let's go back to Allied real quick. So what are your guys' thoughts on the sidewalk on the west side of Allied? Is that something we want to ask for as well? So that would be on, again, the Bellin side of Allied going down to Parkview.
Well, I know what's in the plan right now it's north of, from Wabi to Griffiths.
Yeah.
It's like the Ashwaubenon bowling.
Alley. So there's one plan coming from where the school district sits, basically,
Mhm.
that road, all the way down south to the corner of
So
Wabi
everybody
and
can
Allied,
calculate.
on the west
Oh,
side.
that,
So
okay.
So it would continue, this would be a connection to that one if that one goes in. I think there's some of it there and right now just going to the first driveway. Yeah, the first driveway going into Wabi, there's a sidewalk there right now that connects you to Allied, but that's as far as it goes north right now. So this would continue it in the same side of the roads, going all the way down to Parkview.
Past this, okay, are we gonna go past you had said the bowling alley, so are we gonna go past the cement plant?
Griffiths is north of the cement plant, yes.
Okay,
It's a lot of cleaning.
I'm thinking,
It's all gravel.
sidewalks and hiring with big trucks.
Well, yeah, and, I mean, I know they think it's added onto that cement plant.
Yeah, they just did what, last year? or
Yeah.
so?
I think personally, you can do a sidewalk from the hospital to the bowling alley, and that's where people, that's the closest bar.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you know, you are right.
What about
After
just-
that, there's nothing that, you know,
Our days off at the office.
Yeah.
Let's go to the bowling alley.
What about on Allied just going south from Wabi to Parkview?
Yeah, no.
And not mess, I should say it that way, not work on the north section right away, because at least they can get to,
I would agree with you.
to Quick Trip, which I think will be a destination for people out of the.
Forget, you got a hotel over there.
But going up
After
to the
Big
bowling
Trip.
alley from there, I don't know if they really,
The closest hotel to the hospital will be on the
Yep.
outside.
that's true, I didn't
Yep.
think of that, yes.
Yeah,
It's just short.
Maybe you do it to the
I think you
bowling
do it to the bowling alley.
Bowling alley?
I would.
Okay, so Allied west side from Parkview to bowling alley,
Right, so don't forget to leave. it.
No, we're talking in the west side or the east side?
west side.
Get into a conversation, and it's like, oh,
That's the numbers that on the
East
side.
side,
I was
east side,
gonna
I'm
say, 'cause
sorry.
now
you're
you're
right.
talking about the Stein Garden side.
No, east side, you're right, east side. Okay, so Allied from Parkview up to Loin Alley, east side at west side.
Yep.
Okay,
and that would make sense, because then people
Yeah.
are having surgery there or whatever. A hotel could be used.
you're right,
People
Yeah.
come stay on the night before because they
Yeah,
draw a
that's
lot
true.
from Michigan.
yeah,
The what
Yeah.
hotel?
It's right in the back side of
Spend
the
some
deal.
money.
yeah.
Country Inn and Suites, I think.
They're good, yeah. you're
Oh,
right.
yes, you are right.
Yep.
That's, no, no.
A lot of hotel names, I'm trying to read.
Yeah.
which is which.
Come watch the Packers special teams, see how they do.
Yeah, right.
No, just-
Okay, so then the other thing I
Go there.
have a question on or wanted to ask you guys about is going back to Bellin, asking staff to go back to Bellin and see if they would be willing to work with us on the sidewalks on their site. I mean, they're putting in the gravel trails, which are nice, but they're not really good for transportation purposes to get people moving, what we just already discussed. I know, I believe that Aaron had talked to them initially, but our ordinance do not require a sidewalk. But I was just saying, since Bellin is Bellin Health, maybe a revisit with them.
Well, I think I'd revisit because I don't think Bellin Health understands what we're looking at possibilities.
Right,
Prior to this, they have no knowledge of this, that we're trying to make this accessible for their employees.
right,
They may be against it because they may have their own cafeteria and want them not to leave there and
Yeah.
spend their money there.
yeah,
I don't know that, but I can tell you right now, the way it is to find employees, they're gonna give those employees the best area they possibly can to be able to hire.
right,
So if we offer or try to do the infrastructure to get them to other places to make it more desirable to work at this facility, I think that's advantageous.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way they need to present it.
I mean, I had one of my neighbors, I live right up the road from where this is basically, and there's sidewalk down on north side of Wabi, so I could get down there, but, you know, to get to that site and get in there would be tough for someone walking from my neighborhood. One of my neighbors said, hey, I work in the industrial park, the reason I moved here, because I can walk to work every day. He goes, you're gonna have doctors, nurses, people looking to work, live close here, and if they can't walk and get in there, you know, it's just not going to be a benefit to Bellin to not have that accessibility for people, you know?
Tip was going to include that, the sidewalks.
We are going to, if that's what we are going to be asking them to allocate funds from TIP. And then, but I feel, and maybe that we should at least ask staff to go back and revisit with them and kind of talk to them, to Bellin a little
They're
bit.
talking about putting a gravel path anyways,
Right,
right? And that's for their employees to probably get out and get a little breather from
Yeah.
what they got to deal with on a daily basis.
Probably a quarter mile up there.
Yeah. So they'll probably still do that.
Yeah.
On the other part of it.
right, and they could just use this as the front section instead of putting it in, right, and then that, you know, save money that way, but
Because I'm just thinking, and I don't know, I'm one of these stock market guys, who just, I can't get my nose out of it, but I can tell you right now, businesses, they are trying to make it as desirable, and it isn't even bonuses anymore, because what people are doing is they'll take the bonus and then they leave.
Yeah.
They need to make sure that they're in a place where they want to stay.
Yeah.
You know, and part of that
Thanks
is
so much.
where are you working?
Okay. Okay.
This is a sidebar,
Thank you.
but when I take my car to, it's in the industrial park, and it's, I forget the name of it, it's the first street off, but anyway, Schneider National is there, and there's a sidewalk in front of them, but then they made their own gravel, I couldn't believe it, this isn't the village, they made their own gravel path too behind the woods.
Yep. And we'll do. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
to
what
their
they
place, so it's kind of like what Bill, and we can convince them to at least put it in front, and then convince them to do a sidewalk instead of that gravel path.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was shocked that there were no woods there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but I think, given the area, you aren't gonna have woods, you
No.
need a sidewalk.
Yeah.
But go check out that gravel path.
Yeah, I've been on that
Oh,
several
it's
times.
been
Nice.
there. Yeah, it's been
So
there a
that
long
one-
time.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed
I used to run when I ran. Yeah,
they
it's cool.
probably have a path around it, and then too hot.
Okay, so we probably need a motion in regard to this, unless anyone has any other questions or anything that we want to talk about further. But right now, we're saying a sidewalk from Ridge to Parker Johns on the east and south side.
Yep.
On both Wabi and Oneida, and then Allied staying on the east side from Parkview to the bowling alley with the sidewalk.
Yep.
And then request that staff revisit with Bellin, sit down with Bellin again and, you know,
To
kind of
change
go through.
the gravel path to
Yeah.
a sidewalk.
Well,
Yeah.
is the gravel path on the east side of Allied south of Wabi?
Goes all the way around
Yes.
the entire lot.
Well,
So it's on Wabi, it's on
maybe you
Allied.
want to ask the village for that.
The gravel path,
No,
No.
the sidewalk on that side.
which side?
She's saying
East side.
Bellins.
Bellin East, well, Bell would be Bellin's, but the east side of Allied south of Wabi. You know where the BP is from?
Yes.
East side of Allied.
Yep.
I got it right, and the south side of Wabi. We
Got
don't
it.
want, do we want a sidewalk that way? I don't know what
Yes.
it leads to, but.
At least on the Parkview.
Yeah, no,
Want
we're
that too?
requesting.
We're requesting
I
that too.
didn't hear you say.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, yep, yeah.
You should request that too.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody, any other question, any other comments or things that we want to pursue?
Well, do we have to, or is that just automatic? Because right now, to Rex's point, the Allied intersection only has the cross signals.
If the sidewalk goes in, they would be, we
They would
would be
automatically
required
be
to
required.
put that in.
Okay.
Because now there's not a button on that
Okay.
southwest corner at all, or any access point at all. So that would have to be added, similar to what's on Stein and Quick Trip right now, and even on the BP side.
Including changes for the on ramps, the off ramps, if they're gonna put sidewalk across, they'd have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll have to work with DOT
Yeah.
to get that taken care of.
Well, that's an easier proposal, just asking for the sidewalks instead of getting detailed.
Yeah. And then there should be some mention probably of requesting it to be TIF funding. Be funded through it. It's TIF number 5.
Yeah.
Funding, so.
Wish Joel was here so he kind of present that to him. Wonder if we could run that by him after we just write it down.
Yeah.
What his thoughts are.
For the motion or what? Or just?
Not to what,
How-
well, yeah, we got to motion it, right?
Yeah.
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 But the wording that we should be using to present it to the board. And you think that's what we have is enough? You're on the board.
I think what we have is enough. I mean, the
Well, you're
biggest
there to
thing,
explain.
yeah, the biggest thing for the board is that we are requesting that they use TIF funds to do this. And, you know,
Okay.
it's part of, and maybe it's part of our bike ped plan. It's, you know, the sidewalks are part of our bike ped plan. You know, and we request that TIF funds are used for this, 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 and this. And
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody feel comfortable with the motion, or should I make a motion, or what do you
Can
think?
you read it one more time? Just-
Okay, so, motion that we request the village board allocate TIF funds, so tip number 5, for sidewalks on Wabi and Oneida Street from Ridge to Parker Johns.
Yep.
Sidewalk placed on Allied from Parkview to the bowling alley on the east side of Allied. And also request staff to revisit with Bellin to see if they would be receptive to helping fund part of the sidewalk on their property.
Perfect. I'm glad you wrote it.
Okay, so that's the motion then?
Yep.
Okay, I will make that motion unless someone else would like to.
No, you make it.
Okay. Then we need a second.
No second.
Jessica. All right.
Just in case you get mad at somebody.
It'll be me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
You're opposed?
I agree with the sidewalk that's going from up to the bowling alley. Okay, which is good, but I think you're gonna have trouble. And I think the board members are gonna have troubles thinking about Quick Trip
My Quick Trip.
because of the busyness at Quick Trip. I mean, have you ever been,
I mean, crossing the driveways?
oh, yeah,
It
that's a beast.
Well, it's no
It's-
different than anywhere else though, Leroy.
Yeah, I know, but
Taking
you
the
know,
sidewalk all the way up on Oneida Street.
Yeah,
That's a
I
beast too. I mean, I walk that all the time and you have to keep your head in the swivel because there's a lot of commercial business and
well, that's it. You
driveways
got
that
a
go
lot
across
of,
there.
a lot of trucks that go into Quick Trip. Semi
Absolutely.
trucks, straight trucks. I mean, it's just,
Well, the way I want you,
I just-
the way I want you to think about this, so this is just an analogy, right? So I want you to, because I know you've been there, think of yourself being in Milwaukee or Madison or Chicago or any of those cities. And in an area where there's a lot of business, there's always driveways that have sidewalks because in those cities, unlike us, they have sidewalks, right? And it's no, think about our business district.
The other side.
Think about what that's like when there's a Packard game
yeah.
and the amount of traffic going in and out of driveways there. You have to be observant. I don't care who you are as a driver and the person as the pedestrian as well.
Yep.
But I mean, I would just use that as an analogy because they are no busier than if you go down here. I don't care if it's something going on at the rec center or it's something going on at the stadium. It's busy and there's a lot of driveways there.
Yep.
Right?
Well, and it's
All the
safer.
bars.
It's safer to be in the sidewalk than it is on the road. It's like 80% safer for a pedestrian when you have a sidewalk on a road. So even if, if you're walking in the road, which you have to now, I go down there all the time, you're walking in the road. And you're safer on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I felt sorry for this young guy today because he didn't walk against the traffic neither. I never walk with traffic.
No, me
But
neither.
I think he worked in that building on that side, on the corner, and was headed for the driveway.
Yep, and just.
But he had to be way out because the snow is a little bit out into the road.
Yep. Yeah.
This is dangerous.
All right, any other comments on that? Otherwise, we have a motion. It will go to village board. It will not go in December. It'll probably be the January meeting. And I will sit down with Joel ahead of time to see how we go about, getting this on and,
Yeah.
so the information is there, but.
Can't say we didn't ask.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate your
I-
revisiting, guys.
I think a lot
Me-
of their employees are gonna be walking a lot more than we anticipate though, because even right now, just for where they are, some of the employees are excited about being down here because right now the majority of Mellon employees walk blocks just to get to their cars, where they park, where they do all of that. Like they have the busing system for them to get to their cars. But like a lot of their staff walk 5-6 blocks just to get to their cars now. So they're used to that. It's gonna be nothing for them to walk down the subway, walk over there. Like
No,
they're all so used to that right now from where Mellon is currently. Like I think they're gonna be on foot a lot because that's what they're used to
Yeah, exactly.
and
now.
I guarantee you some of those other buildings that you see there right now,
Everything,
they ain't gonna be there.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna be new buildings there.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll get filled up.
Because they even have employees that walk down from like where their Alloway, what used to be Alloway Cafe or whatever where Mellon is. A lot of those employees are gonna be here now too.
Alright.
But employees from there right now, they will walk or ride their bikes from there down to the hospital and back. And that's a further distance than this.
And this,
So
yep.
I think we're gonna see a lot more just because of the lifestyle and because of Mellon and how they push that stuff. I do think we're gonna see a lot more of that in that area than we're used to.
Tracy, what would be nice is if you could get them, if they're willing, to take a drive down that road
Right,
and see what
Yes.
it's like.
yes.
I mean, I literally, what I did is, because it's so busy,
Oh,
I
yeah.
pulled in parking lots so I could observe.
Mhm.
There's no way I would walk across Oneida on either one of those.
No.
No way.
Yeah.
Even with a pedestrian sign there.
Yep.
I mean, them people are flying.
Oh, they are, yeah, they're going fast, and, there's no good place to walk on there unless you're walking on the road. No one wants to walk on the road on Wabi or Oneida Street, and it's just not safe, So, you see people doing it. I walked that whole section. I was in the grass all the way up, because there's nowhere to walk. In the winter, you just wouldn't get through there.
And they may find that those businesses that where you go down further, where they want to maybe access some of their land, maybe go all for that to get those people from that area to come and visit their places to have lunch or
I would
dinner
imagine
or-
if you approach those business owners, they would all be all for getting people by foot and by bike. When you have however many people, I'd say it's 500 that are going to be housed, that are going to be working there, that's more customers for them that can just wander up the road to them.
But that's only the 500 that work there. That's
Right,
the people
exactly.
coming to have surgery.
Right, yeah,
And
Or
they're,
their family member that has.
And their
Yes.
family members.
right, and it has to wait and decide, I'm going to walk up and get coffee up the road, or I'm going to do something. They have access to get there.
Especially because again, they're mainly going to be day surgeries, so people are
Right.
going to be there early, they're going to sit there all day, wait for their
Yeah.
loved one, and then they're going to.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Just need something to do during the day, they're going to use that district a lot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it'll bring a lot more people in.
I'm sure your board knows financials. With you guys dealing with the amount of business that you're
Right.
dealing with the district over here, you got to be dealing with numbers all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Basing, hey, you probably need to do this.
Right. Sounds good. Thank you guys for the good comments and discussion. Anything else on that? Otherwise, we'll move along. AP is the review, discussion, possible action, possible recommendation on LRB 5204 and LRB 5241. So these are two bills that are currently working through their way through the legislature. Christina Sheldon and another representative, I'm totally spacing her name, in the Valley, have put these together. One has to do with condemnation. I don't know if you guys remember, like maybe when Governor Walker was in, they took out the ability to condemn for bicycle and pedestrian type facilities. So if you had a trail and you needed to condemn a piece to get it across a piece of property, you could no longer do that. So the first bill, let's see, yeah, the first bill allows village boards, county boards, or other city councils to, and the Department of Transportation to, again, condemn land for bicycle and pedestrian facilities. So that's what the very first bill is about. So really trying to get the condemnation ability to condemn back again. Communities don't use this lightly. It's used very infrequently. It really is only when it's like this trail and you just have to get through and there's just not a willing partner. So sometimes they will condemn to be able to get that facility through. So let's say the Fox River Trail, you ran up against one property owner and they were like, no, not doing it. You were able to condemn at that time. Now you cannot, not for that type of facility. You could for a roadway, but you can't for that type of facility. So that's what the first bill is for. The second bill is basically, we are considered a yield state. So when you're in a crosswalk at an intersection, motor vehicles have to yield to you. So you have the right of way as a pedestrian, if you're walking your bike, if you're on a wheelchair, any of a non-motorized vehicle. A lot of other states are called stop states. So you have to stop when someone's in the intersection or doing in a crosswalk. So this bill is looking to change the state to a stop state rather than a yield state. And the reason behind it, I think, is educational for one thing, because for those of you that walk a lot, you know that very few people actually even yield to you and don't have an idea of what should happen. So I think it's creating an awareness and also making it safer for people, the yield versus the stop as people come up to the intersection. So those are the two bills that are going. I did talk to her today just to see kind of what the process is for it. Basically, they were introduced and they will not, they're going through a process right now where they go to the legislators to get on or sign on to the bill. That would be done, they're figuring out Christmas and stuff, it would be January before they get that done. Then once that's done, then it'll be put in committee and it'll go to the Department of Transportation Committee, because both of them are more transportation type bills. And that will be in February. At that time, she said she'd reach out again, and at that time, they may be looking for letters from communities, from people saying they would support these bills and asking for them to be passed. So that's really where it is. They're both bike type things. And I just wanted to let you guys know they're out there and they're things that our state legislators are working at or looking at right now. She also has two other bills that are out there. One is for tax credit for a parent that buys a bicycle for their child. So they get tax credit in a certain income level, they would get tax credit for that. And then the other one that is out there, she has is the Complete Streets legislation. Again, when Governor Walker was in office, he took out the Complete Street legislation. So what Complete Streets is basically if you use state funding or federal funding, or at the time it was just state funding, federal is still in place, you would have to make sure you're accommodating bicycles and pedestrians. So when you put a road in, like Cormier Road that was put in, they used state and federal funding for that, so they had to accommodate bikes and pedestrians on it. Governor Walker took that out of state statute and it was no longer required if you use state money. So the other bill that's going through is to put Complete Streets back in to the state ordinances that you would require bicycle and pedestrian facilities when you use state funding for any kind of roadway work that you're doing if you get a state grant, which obviously the village of Ashwaubenon gets a lot of state money and a lot of federal money for roads. So those are the four bike ped type legislation that's being worked on. The two are farther ahead and these last two have just been introduced. So I just wanted to let you guys know those. Any questions on those, any comments as it moves along?
Do you have the last two listed?
No, I just talked to her today about those. So those are not listed and I did not get the laws themselves. And those are further ahead in the process. They may be going to early in January, they may be going into the next.
Is there a specific issue with that they're seeing with people just yielding versus stopping? That created this?
I think that they were just thinking of creating an awareness and that stop states have less issues than yield states. If they had done some research with pedestrian, yeah. There's maybe more awareness and people are more likely to stop than to yield if they do the kind of half stop roll yield thing through.
Or it may even get them to yield and stop, where they probably don't even yield right now, where if they know that the law is you have to stop.
Right.
That's where I'm thinking they might be
That
coming
went on
from.
the street a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot.
Because a lot of people don't know,
No.
or I really believe this, they don't know the
Mhm.
law. And I have to be honest, maybe I didn't need it before we had a lot of discussion on it.
Yeah.
That's also a very expensive ticket.
Yeah.
And you may want,
To not yield for pedestrian.
and you may want to bring that up to the village board also, that this is really making that will help the industry a lot in our push for sidewalks.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
would,
thing.
I would bring that up because
Yeah.
to me, that's, you
Yeah.
know, for me, if I see a pedestrian, it doesn't have a pedestrian sign, I'm thinking, what are they doing in the street? They should wait for me. I shouldn't wait for them. I didn't know there was a yield that they always have to go
Yeah.
across. And then you might as well make it stop.
Yeah.
You know, because that's my attitude. I mean, I always stop, but why are they crossing?
Yeah.
It's me, not them. They're supposed to
Right.
be interesting.
Yeah,
It's
they're
good.
required to yield to them. If they're in a crosswalk or they're in even an intersection that has lights or stop signs, you are required to stop them. They cannot dart out in the middle of the street and expect you to start or to stop. They have to, use due caution. But at a crosswalk, when you come up to an intersection that has the lines on it, you're required as a motor vehicle driver to yield to them in our state. You have to yield, let them go, and then continue on your way, and that doesn't happen very often. Yeah. And the stop bars that you see, like you have the crosswalk, and then like in Titletown, they put the new stop bars in. That's to keep vehicles back further from the crosswalk so they can see the pedestrians crossing. And I noticed, I've been up there a couple times just kind of watching traffic, and they actually stop at the crossbar, which is great because then they're leaving that more open. So, because there's like 3 lanes of traffic coming when you're going northbound.
Well, and there may be somebody coming from the other side and they're watching this side,
Right,
trying to cross.
yep, yeah, so it opens it up a little bit by keeping people, the motor vehicles away from it, so.
Think people, I don't trust people, so I wouldn't, you just don't trust them. and don't
You're like
know
me
what
when
to
I
do.
run, I go, and
Yeah.
they'll go, and I'll go,
Yep, you waited.
you
till
go,
get the
I
wave. You
don't
waited
take
till
on
you get the
cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's the problem too, because people are afraid, you know, or people are walking and not paying attention, you know, and they got their phones and they kind of just walk right out, which is totally nuts. I mean, I'm like, my head's on a swivel even when there's, you know, they're stopping, I'm still like watching because, you know, when there's 2 or 3 lanes, it's that extra lane that may take you out, you know, so. But yeah, I mean, pedestrians have to do their thing too, and motors have to do theirs. It has to go both ways, so. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on this, and then maybe at some point when it gets further along, if she's looking for resolutions or she's looking for anything else to kind of support it, we could do a resolution through here, or we can ask village board to do a resolution to support their new bills, so. But, and I think both of them and the other 2 are good bills for further bike and pedestrian access and make it, maybe more people will do it, thinking they'll be safer with the new changes, or the changes that came about, or may come about, so. But that's it on that. Any questions on that, you guys? Those 2, I should say.
That's good to be aware of.
Yeah. All right, then review and possible action on the 2018 plan projects. I do not have anything. Did Rex leave anything with you, David?
He did not. He gave me information about West Main Trail and Ashwaubenon.
Okay, so we don't have anything then on the 2018 plan. We'll go to department reports.
Can I ask you a quick question also? Like something this week's made a motion on this. That should probably be added to the plan. What we're presenting to the board with the sidewalks, no? Should that be in our plan?
Most of it is in already.
Well, you don't have to do it now. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I
Because
know
I want to make sure if it's not there that we continue the sheet.
I know south and the south side of Wabi and east side of Oneida is all in there. It's
Okay.
all in there. Allied ends at Wabi, so it goes from, I can't remember where it starts, goes all the way to Wabi, Griffiths to Wabi. So the piece on Allied to Parkview is not in our plan
Okay.
right now, but it does come from the north.
Okay.
So we'd have to add that one section in.
What do we want
And
to
they
do?
have
The
one
one
to
to for the
change
Griffin?
to the
Oh.
Now just be till.
To the bowling alley, yeah.
It's all of a sudden
Yes.
amend it and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we could, I guess we got the review and possible action on the plan, 2018 plan project, so we could make a motion to add those in there.
I think we should.
Okay,
We want to track what we're doing.
great. Okay, so someone making motion to that extent, please.
So we're making a motion to add the Allied. The rest you're saying you think is in there. Or do we want
It
to do
is,
wall?
it is from, it goes Griffiths now.
Yeah, but we just.
So we want
did
to change that.
In an earlier motion, we said we only wanted it to the bowling alley.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can put in
If
as
we
much
can
as you
get it.
wanted. Because it says to go to Griffiths, so we're doing a piece that's already in the plan.
So we want a motion to have a sidewalk from Wabi to Parkview on the east side of Allied.
Mhm.
All right, motion by Dale then to add the sidewalk in our bike ped plan, Allied from Wabi to Parkview on the east side. East side of Allied. Have a second, anyone?
Yeah.
Second by Annette, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Good, we'll just add that in then. All right, sounds good. Okay, department reports. We'll start with David. It's gonna be Park and Rec guy today.
All right,
He
yep,
is
Rex
anyway.
passed along some information to me. So he wanted me to just discuss West Main Trail. He said they're gonna be done by Friday, with the final box culvert and road clearing. They're gonna clear any snow that's on the road, hopefully. Nice weather, there shouldn't be a ton of snow, so good timing for that. That's gonna be done by Peters Concrete. He said they're gonna pick everything back up in spring. They're gonna be doing the railings for the box culvert and the paving at that time. And then just a little bit about Ashwaubenon pedestrian bridge. So bridge calculations are almost complete. And then pretty soon they'll be meeting with Grave on design aspects, and that's going to be things like lighting and such. So.
Nice. Good. Right, thank you. Let's see, public safety. Jeff, you still there? You have anything for us?
No, I checked. Oh, sorry. I checked yesterday and I didn't have any accidents versus pedestrians. However, with you guys talking about putting sidewalk and then the additional people coming by Bellin, you may want to consider, I'm not sure if you guys can even do anything about this, but the speeds, especially with coming over Ridge there, it's a downhill slant. I've ran a lot of traffic coming around that corner from kind of near Quick Trip shooting to the south. So cars coming off the highway and then coming over Ridge down Wabi and turns into South Oneida Street there. And I've had cars constantly doing 15 over. So I would recommend getting a lot of different additional signs, maybe with orange flags to bring the speed down to 30 right away, because that's what Oneida Street is, especially with the additional people, and then the downhill coming off of Ridge. And that also gives us more of a, most officers will start riding around 15 over in that area. And if it's 35, they got to be doing 50, and that's extremely unreasonable. But if they're doing 45 in that area with people on the sidewalk, that's extremely unreasonable to me. So I'd hate to see people going 50 through there. And then also with people coming off the highway, they're at a different mindset because it just got done doing 80 miles an hour down the highway. So I think that's where a lot of the speed comes from. A lot of people come cranking off that highway, not paying attention like always. But I don't know if we can get a flashing sign, the speed or something of nature in that entire area with the additional people that are going to be in that area might be a really good idea. So.
That's a really good idea, Jeff, because we're going to be adding a lot more traffic to that area too. And we've been talking about bike and ped, but obviously the motor vehicle drivers need to be slowed down too. So that's a good idea.
Do you find that more when they come off the highway from south to getting onto Oneida versus coming from the north? Because that's they don't have as long of a length of time to get into traffic where they got the full lane when they come from the south and get onto Oneida going towards the Quick Trip for the Five Guys. You experience it on both ends.
Yeah, I would say it's easier for me to run traffic with them coming from off the highway just where I sit. I sit in the vacant lot across from Quick Trip.
Okay.
But if you sit down by Super 8, in that area, there's not a whole lot of great spots to sit there, but the people or drivers really start increasing speed once they get past Quick Trip because they're going to crank it up onto the highway. And a lot of things that's a decent curve in that entire area. The whole thing's a curve. So you have that going for you too, that it's unfortunate. And I agree with you guys that blinking yellow lights is going to do nothing in that area for traffic. They need to have a red light that has them stop for pedestrians to get across, in my opinion. So it's a very, very fast area. So, and people are coming off the highway, everyone's in a hurry, like you said, with phones. So I think that's the biggest concerns in that area. So
I can tell you an area of concern. 3 areas. One is Babcock. The traffic on Babcock is terrible. I mean, I'm coming off of Ponderosa, and Ponderosa is terrible. You got a 2-block section, 2 big long blocks. I mean, it's a 1/4 mile long or more down to the school. I mean, they're going, I live on the 3rd house up from Pioneer, and by the time they're getting to my house, they're already going 35 miles an hour. I know they are. And the other street is, Dale walks it all the time, is Pioneer.
Yeah, but it's because there's nothing there. You
There's
just
nothing
walk.
there. It's just wide open. And just like Babcock, it's the same thing, from 172 all the way down to Clive, I mean, not Clive, well,
You're
the
saying
one,
Babcock too.
yeah, Babcock. From 172 all the way down to, it's not Clive, it's, it only goes one more block past.
Avondale.
No,
No.
past the church.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they're,
Do you know?
I know it's hard for you guys. You can't be everywhere. But, you know, I'm talking residential areas. I mean, Ponderosa especially, I mean, man alive. From Babcock to Pioneer, they speed down that street because it's a wide open.
You should talk to Darla when she was a crossing guard there.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
They run over cones.
Hey, listen,
They go right through it. She's got out, she's out there
Well,
with the
I'm
sign
telling-
and.
I'm telling Jeff because, I mean, I have mentioned this before, you know, I mean, and, you know, there's a lot of little kids on Ponderosa.
yeah,
Okay.
and I agree. I have 4 little boys, so I definitely notice cars going by my house a lot more and make me a heck of a lot angry when I have cars going by when I got my little kids now. We can put it on the briefing sheet, which every officer can see it. If we have enough staffing, we have what we assign traffic cars for 8 hours, and we can assign them to those locations. So if you wanted to email me, basically the intersection, the 100 block, the area, with areas of concern, I can put them on the briefing sheet in the time of the day when it's mostly happening, to get the best for both. And we also have a speed trailer that we could have our community service officer bring out there too. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's hard. At times we have 2 officers on the road for the entire village during the day.
Yeah.
And we don't get 3 on the road sometimes until 7 at night. So to me, that's dangerous. And so that's what we're dealing with too at the same time. Certain days. So, and you get an officer that gets a call or 2 calls, now you have nobody available in the entire village, and that happens a lot. So
I fully understand the staffing. I understand that fully. I mean, if you want, I can tell you exactly where to sit on Ponderosa,
We'll put it in your email.
you know.
Yeah, we'll email you at Jeff. We'll get from
Yeah.
Leroy and get that to
That's
you.
easier so you get the data.
Yeah.
yeah, and then I can just that'll be record that I can get it on there. But yeah, as you guys are driving around, or if you have an area that after we're done here today, reaching me by email at jpanz@ashwaubenon.com, but it'll be .gov here in a few days. So, but that's going to be best to reach me. So, and I will put it on the briefing sheet and I will respond within 3 days.
Okay.
Can you clarify that, Jeff, though, just so there's 2 officers on the road during the day out of how many officers?
So our fully staffed would be 9 officers or 9 officers. You got to remember that we got to run a rescue squad. So there's going to be guaranteed 3 of those need to be in the station.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So if 2 people can be on vacation at a time, So if you got 2 people on vacation, you're already down to, what would it be? 9, yeah, seven guys.
Yep.
But that's if we're fully staffed. So right now we have 2 different shifts that only have 8 guys. So that brings you down to 6 guys. So you literally have 6 guys covering the entire village for police, fire, and rescue at a lot.
And you have 3.
I've recommended to make it a day, 11 to 7 during the day, a mandatory car. And that's what I recommended. But again, it's easier said than done with finances, and that's a little above my pay grade. So,
Yeah.
but it is frustrating too. And I'm a supervisor, and I'm sure you guys know as well, there's some officers that need to get a little more pep in their step. So, and that's going to hopefully get addressed and continue to get addressed. But, yeah,
Well,
that's where we're at. So.
Yeah, it just, I wasn't the reason to answer your question. I was just more interested in, because I didn't realize that. I didn't realize you had 3 shifts. You had that number of officers, some are firemen, some are paramedics. Yeah, so that was good. Thank you.
What is your email again, Jeff?
It's going to be J. Yep, it should be in the email, but jpansier@ashwaubenon.com. So it's PANSIER.
Yeah.
And then Jeff, when you said there were no pedestrian ones, was that the last month that you looked? Or
Yes, yep. Month and a half I had our records department check for me. Yep. And then she's going to check every month for me. She's got it on her calendar to send that to me every month. So.
okay, that was one of the questions I had, because on Cormier and Pilgrim, probably it was right around our last meeting. A car hit a bicyclist and I never saw an officer there. And I was like, I bet you no one even called the cops and it didn't get reported. But I think that's the second one now that I've seen had that.
Okay.
So I think especially as now there's all those extra houses there in the corner. You have all the apartments, the school, like that area is getting worse and worse in that intersection. At certain times of the day, it can be backed up probably half the distance of like where you turn from Ridge onto that. So then people get to that stop sign, literally like you'll have 4 or 5 cars go without stopping because everyone's just trying to go. And then there's the crosswalk literally right there. And especially with it being dark out so early at that, like the 4:30, 5 o'clock time, it's always really busy until about 6. I'll actually go up to Ridge and take the stoplight down because I don't feel like waiting at Pilgrim. But that's the second pedestrian bicycle that I've seen in the last year. And I just have a feeling that area is going to get worse and worse right there because you just have so many people trying to pull out and beat traffic.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of it myself. I hate sitting there. Like, I feel like I'm sitting there waiting. I always stop at least, but then you literally have people honk at you. You are not going fast enough. So I think especially with all the high school kids that are probably feeling more pressured by that, you can just literally see it 4 or 5 cars will pull out all at once. So I think from a pedestrian standpoint there, but yeah, I went and then I turned around and came back and they were pulling the bike off. And then a truck pulled up right away. He got in that. And I was like, I bet you an officer's not even going to get a call for this. So
Probably.
I didn't know if they did or not, but so they must not have. So, okay, thank you.
Was that was at Cormier and Ridge, you said?
Cormier and Pilgrim. So where Pilgrim comes down to Cormier there, right by.
Oh yeah, we're at the other end of it. Okay, I got you.
Yep, right
Okay.
there.
Yeah, same thing if you wanted to email me, and I'm guessing that's right around 3 o'clock, so, correct?
Actually, that was at like about 5:15. So
Okay,
that one was, but yeah,
Okay.
right after 3 o'clock when the high school gets out, then it's really bad going down that way. But yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll send you those, Jeff. Thanks for checking on that and hopefully it'll slow people down, but I don't know. Okay, any other questions for Jeff, anybody?
No, that was good. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, the
Thank you.
schools. Yep. Schools, I don't have anything from the schools. Excuse me. I do have an update from Wello. Let's see. Wello will be using predictive analytics from Wisconsin DOT to identify hotspots for countywide Frogger operations in 2022. We will be bringing back the Yield to Your Neighbor campaign with hopes of spreading and scaling it further. Finally, they're working on the beginnings of a project to increase winter physical activity and reduce social isolation called Winter Mission. And there may be some upcoming opportunities for Ashwaubenon to specifically get involved and to help craft the project. So in the Frogger, I know the Public Safety Department was involved in Frogger last year, but unfortunately Jeff hit it on the head. They don't have anybody really dedicated. As soon as they get a call, they're gone and they can't do it anymore. So that's something that Village Board is kind of working with Public Safety right now to see if we can get more traffic enforcement out there. And Winter Mission, we talked about this at my last Ashwaubenon meeting. With us, for you guys that, if you don't know, we are going to be clearing the trails. What they end up doing, we didn't necessarily budget for it, but the village put in a new public works employee that will be clearing, and then a park and rec employee was moved up from a custodian position to a park maintenance position. So those two employees are going to be starting in the fall of next year, and they're going to be clearing trails. So we'll have a chance to kind of look at it again, see what trails we would like them to work on or to start as a pilot program. And then, so they're looking at having in-house staff take care of our trails.
So not this year.
It'll be 2022, fall of 2022, so not this year.
Somebody just asked me if they're on the trail.
No.
They can get a fresh start right from when the snow season starts.
Sure.
Yeah. So instead of starting January of 2022, we decided to wait and.
Somebody lives in your,
What?
somebody lives over in your district.
I know. I've had a few people ask me.
Clean those trails.
I know.
We're
So
working on
that's it for those. Any public comment on biking and walking in the community? Anybody have anything? I have a comment from Kyle, who was not able to make it today. He requested the Cormier bike lanes are clear of snow. They're half full of snow, and Hanson Road, also bike lanes on Hanson Road and certain sections are not clear of snow. So he had a request that the village take a look at that and see if they can get those cleared and make sure they stay cleared through the winter months. Anything else, bike pet stuff? Anybody else other comments? If you know of anybody, we're still short one committee member. I've been putting the word out. I reached out to a couple people that I thought either were available, either the day was wrong or they just, couldn't do it. So if you know of anybody, please let them know that we're looking for somebody, and it would be great to fill our committee back up. So.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I was apparently, I was not here whenever whatever happened. I don't know. Randy, why did he just decided to quit, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I think he just had been on it so long. I mean, because he started just before you did. He started when the committee started, when I was here still as the parks director. So he was on it for a long time. And I think he just had other things. He was on a couple other committees.
Yeah.
He decided he wanted to get involved in that. So he just said he thought he put his time in and didn't feel like putting his time in anymore. So he decided to try to do something different. So. So if you know of anybody.
I think he was also staying more close to home because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know if that played a factor or not, but I do know that he had mentioned that while with COVID, we're staying close to home. He said that a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to get, if possible, a younger person.
Oh, and Jamie,
A little younger than you.
It's okay.
Just a year.
Well, next spring, I'm gonna run him over with my bicycle when I come out Pioneer.
I don't know if you guys, when you were at the village board, when you presented, Jamie Ashwaubenon was there. She's the young lady that's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
She was interested in the committee, but she does not actually live in Ashwaubenon. She's just on the outskirts by the Ashwaubenon Sports Complex. So she was gonna be like a liaison type, like we have for public safety and stuff. But she just reached out to Mary. Mary told me this, that she has had a new job, so she is not going to be able to commit to this. But she said she would be happy if we have questions, if we want her to look at something, if we want her to go out there and wheel on something, she would be happy to do that. So she could be from a disability standpoint.
That's perfect.
So she would be happy to do that.
which is very interesting because on the neighborhood app on the phone, it wasn't Ashwaubenon, it was Green Bay, but someone with disabilities was complaining because he had to clean his sidewalk in front of his house and he couldn't do it.
I saw that, yeah. Yeah, he got it cleared, but then the snowplow came and filled it back up again. He was like, you know.
He was very frustrated, so
Yeah.
he was, I guess, sounded like there was a group that could help people like that.
I'm sure
but
there is.
Maybe somewhere along the line, if that happens in our community, we can figure out a group or something to do that. Yeah, I thought, yeah, they do need help.
Yeah, it would be nice to have someone young or someone, even someone that's in the chair, or someone that uses a walker, or someone, you know, has a disability.
Limited finances.
Yes.
Probably the ones limited finances to get someone to pay for it.
Yeah,
But I thought that was interesting. I thought, well, it didn't say Ashwaubenon. That's good.
yeah, I said it too. I was like, oh, yeah.
When was, we were, it's in the plan, for Hanson Road. From Ridge down to, you know.
Reach down to what, Oneida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when was that supposed to be brought up, kind of?
I'd have to check, I'm not sure when that was gonna go in, but there definitely is desire. There's people walking on that side of the road all the
All
time,
of that.
all the time. There's
On the
a sidewalk.
grass.
Yeah,
Sure, they're walking,
yes.
they walk down, well, no, they don't walk in the grass, they walk in the street.
Well, now they gotta walk.
And then they go over to the top of the bridge and then they walk in the street all the way down. It's just,
Yeah,
You
so
know,
they don't want to cross the sidewalk.
that's
There's a lot of
exactly
people
right.
in
They don't wanna
apartments
cross
there.
it.
Yes, yep, a lot of people in the apartments that just don't want to do that. So we can check on that. I mean, we could,
I mean, I'm thinking, you know, here we're talking about, you know, putting in sidewalks here, putting in sidewalks here. And yes, I agree, that's good. But you know what? We're kind of forgetting about what I feel is something that's a necessity. And that is one. That is, I don't know about what you feel,
Well,
but that's why,
but
it should be there.
So that's, so you bring up a good point, and that's why we created the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't take a lot of time to review the spreadsheet.
Yeah, well,
And that's why it's there. You can't accomplish things, but we have to work with the board and other people because the money has to be. The reason we did this is because we can maybe get TIF funding. That's a big difference, right?
exactly.
That's the reason we wanted to
In
present it.
addition
it
to
was,
her-
it
Yeah.
was approved. It went through. I thought it was approved at one time.
What?
North Road, I mean, Hanson Road.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it went.
You know, I'm not sure. I know
We
it's
just
in the
talked about it.
plan
We
and it's
just
been in the
mentioned the
plan.
Just what, 2 months ago or something like that, I think.
Well, let's do this. Let's bring that up at the next meeting because he'll know.
Yeah.
Right, that's the person that's.
Okay, so the next agenda, we'll talk about the Ridge Road to Oneida Street.
Yep.
Hanson Road,
Yeah,
Ridge
let's
to
put that
Oneida
on the
sidewalk on the south side would be.
Yeah.
Rex
Because you're right.
addressed it, and I think you're rightly right. I think Rex addressed it, and there was something further, but I thought Rex had said that this moving.
Yeah, I think there was two.
Rex mentioned
You know,
something, and not that.
Well, the
Rex-
bad part is from the apartments, from the apartment driveway
Up to
Ridge
Yeah.
is the hard part. The rest of it is just normal.
Right,
It's
Yeah.
just that
You know,
area right there.
I
that-
thought Rex mentioned something.
So I don't want to bring up the plan, I don't want to force him to bring up the plan. But if we reviewed that, because Rex went through a lot of those, there's probably an update in there as to when.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Could be.
yeah. So,
And I
yeah,
will look, what I'll do is
Yeah.
I'll look when I go, I'm not, I don't make a computer here, and I'm not going to put him through that, I'll go through.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if he has access to it like Sue does, but probably does, but doesn't make any difference. It'll be easier for us to find.
all right,
And
so
I'll send that to everybody.
we'll put that on the next agenda.
Yep.
See what's up. I have another thing for the next agenda. I've been in the Wabi, or the Industrial Park Trail, which starts at Wabi and then heads down towards West Main, kind of in that area. So it goes to the Industrial Park. I have had noticed lately, there's a lot of people parking their cars really close to that trail. In fact, the other day I went and there was a tow truck blocked the entire access from the trail to cross the road. So then I went and talked to the tow truck company and said, seriously, guys, you know, and they had all their tow trucks blocking. So I would like to put on the agenda a request to yellow those curbs, put no parking sections adjacent to all of those crossing in that industrial park, because people walk there a lot and I think they drive over and then they go take off a piece of it and they park right up to that trail and you literally cannot see. And that traffic travels, I bet you that traffic's going 45 miles in that industrial park area. They are flying. And you literally have to walk way out, be able to see to get out of those entrances. And we don't need that black. Someone's gonna get picked up because a lot of people just fly right out of there. They don't even check. So I would like to put on the agenda the request to put no parking spaces on all those areas in the industrial park that trail crosses, because people are just parking way close and someone's gonna get hurt. And the guys from the towing company were very nice when I went and told them they immediately went and moved out their vehicles out of there. But it's like, I said, you guys have one of the trailheads even covered. You can't even get out of there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's detail.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put that on the next.
Somebody trying to get in?
Oh, yeah, that could be. Okay.
Your intentions, let me know.
Yeah, right.
Anything else for the next agenda? Our next meeting is January 10th, 2022. So have a good holiday season, everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And then I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, motion in the second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'll keep you posted on what goes on with that. Jeff Fanzier, PAN